Hi every wise reader, welcome to the next video from Read Wiser, a YouTube channel dedicated to helping you improve yourself through books. Today we're diving deep into the profound insights of The Power of Now by the renowned Eckhart Tolle. Are you constantly stressed out? Do you find your mind racing with worries about the future or endlessly replaying regrets from the past? Most of us live this way, believing it's just a normal part of life. We chase happiness in the future, thinking, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or when I find the right partner, or when I move to that new city. But what if that's all a trap? What if the very mind we rely on to solve our problems is actually the source of all our suffering? This is the radical, life-changing thesis of Eckhart Tolle's masterpiece, The Power of Now. It's a book that argues our anxiety, depression, and dissatisfaction aren't caused by our lives, but by our inability to stop thinking. And it offers a simple, direct path to ending that suffering. Eckhart Tolle himself experienced this firsthand. After years of suicidal depression, he had a profound awakening one night. In a moment of intense suffering, he thought, I cannot live with myself any longer. This simple thought triggered a revelation. If I cannot live with myself, then there must be two of me. The I and the self that I cannot live with. And maybe, he realized, only one of them is real. This insight shattered his old suffering self. He discovered that the self he'd been struggling with was a complete fiction, a false self created by his own unobserved mind. This false self, which he calls the ego, is what we all mistake for who we are. It's a phantom identity, built from our past memories, our future projections, and our compulsive, non-stop inner monologue. This book is Tolle's guide to helping us make the same discovery. He argues that the root of all human suffering is our unconscious identification with this egoic mind. We're either lost in the past or anxious about the future, completely missing the only thing that is ever real, the present moment. The Power of Now is a practical manual for how to break free from this tyranny of the mind and find the deep, unshakable peace of our true nature, which he calls being. We'll explore this core problem, the illusion of time, the mind's escape tactics, and the practical portals we can use, like the inner body and surrender, to finally find the freedom that is only available right now. So what is the core problem? Tolle states it simply: the greatest obstacle to enlightenment or inner peace is our identification with our own minds. We believe that we are the voice in our head, the compulsive, incessant thinker. This is the fundamental error. The philosopher Descartes famously said, I think, therefore I am. Tolle argues this is the root of our delusion. We've equated thinking with being, and our identity with the activity of our mind. But this mind-made self, the ego, is a phantom. It's a false self that lives in a state of constant fear and separation. It's never satisfied, always needing more to feel complete, and it casts a shadow of suffering over our lives. The first step to freedom is a profound realization. You are not the possessing entity. You are not the thinker. You are the awareness behind the thinker. Tolle introduces the most important practice in the book, watching the thinker. This means listening to the voice in your head impartially, as a witnessing presence. When you do this, you realize there's the voice, and then there's I am who is listening to it. This I am is not a thought. It is a deeper level of consciousness. This is the beginning of disidentifying from your mind. But the mind isn't the only problem. All the emotional pain we've ever experienced, the grief, the anger, the shame, that we didn't fully face and accept in the moment, doesn't just disappear. It accumulates, merging into a negative energy field inside our bodies and minds that Tolle calls the pain body. This pain body is a semi-autonomous entity that wants to survive. It lies dormant, but then something triggers it and it wakes up to feed. It feeds on any experience that resonates with its own energy, more pain. So it will take over your mind, making you think negative thoughts and pick fights, creating drama and misery just so it can feast on that suffering. It's why we get stuck in cycles of unhappiness. You can't fight the pain body. The only way to dissolve it is to turn the light of your consciousness on it. When you feel it rising, you must be the watcher. Observe it, feel its energy directly inside you, but do not identify with it. Don't let it become your thoughts. By holding it in your conscious presence, you break the identification, and the pain body's energy transmutes into consciousness. So, the core problem is twofold. The ego, our identification with the thinking mind, and the pain body, our identification with old emotional pain. The solution to both is the same: to break our identification by watching with impartial, non-judgmental presence. But if our minds are so powerful, how do they trap us so effectively? They do it by creating and living in an illusion. Let's find out in the next section just what that illusion is. The mind's greatest trick, its entire operating system, is the delusion of psychological time. This is the mind's compulsive identification with the past and the future. Think about it. When you're not fully present, where is your mind? It's either replaying an old memory or it's rehearsing a future scenario. The mind denies the present moment. Why? Because, as Tolle says, the past gives you an identity and the future holds the promise of salvation. Your ego is built from your past memories and experiences, and it seeks fulfillment or salvation in the future. I'll be happy when. Both, Tolle argues, are complete illusions. The now, the present moment, is the most precious thing there is for one simple reason: it is the only thing that is real. It's all there is. Nothing has ever happened in the past. It happened in a now. Nothing will ever happen in the future. It will happen in a now. The past is just a memory trace in your mind. The future is just an imagined now. This is why all negativity is caused by an accumulation of psychological time. Fear, anxiety, tension and stress are caused by having too much future and not enough presence. Guilt, regret, resentment, and sadness are all caused by too much past and not enough presence. Tolle makes a crucial distinction here between clock time and psychological time. Clock time is the practical, functional use of time. We need it to make appointments, set goals, and learn from past mistakes. That's fine. The problem is psychological time, when we let our past define who we are or live in constant anticipation of the future. That is a form of mental disease. The solution is to realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. You must make the now the primary focus of your life. When you are fully present, you cannot have a problem. You may have a situation that you need to deal with now, but it's not a problem. A problem is something the mind creates by adding past and future to the situation, burdening it with negativity and fear. The takeaway here is that your problems aren't in your life situation. That's just mind stuff. Your true life is found only in the now. By anchoring yourself in the present, the delusion of psychological time dissolves, and with it, all its negativity and suffering. So if being in the now is the key, why is it so incredibly hard? Why does our mind fight it so hard? The mind has countless subtle strategies for pulling us away from the present. Let's explore those next. Most of us aren't even aware that we're avoiding the present moment. We're living in a state Tolle calls ordinary unconsciousness. This isn't acute pain, but rather a constant low-level background static of unease, boredom, or nervousness. It's the normal state of discontent that we've just learned to live with. We're so used to it we don't even notice it, but we do try to escape it. We use alcohol, binge-watching, compulsive shopping, or endless work as anesthetics to numb this basic unease. But these are just temporary fixes that never solve the underlying issue: our resistance to what is. This ordinary unconsciousness can instantly turn into deep unconsciousness, a state of acute emotional pain, the moment the ego is threatened or the pain body gets triggered. This is when the real madness comes out. So how do we dissolve this ordinary unconsciousness? Tolle says we must make it conscious. We have to start noticing the mind's habitual strategies for resisting the now. The best way to do this is to frequently ask yourself a simple question: am I at ease at this moment? If the answer is no, your mind is in resistance mode. This resistance shows up in very common, sneaky ways. One is complaining. When you complain in thought or speech, you are in non-acceptance of what is. You make yourself into a victim, and you're unconsciously giving your power away. Another is resentment, which is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. Thus, it pollutes your own inner space. Perhaps the most common strategy is waiting. Waiting as a state of mind is a total rejection of the present. You're waiting for the next vacation, for Friday, for someone to arrive, for a better future. This creates an inner conflict between your here, where you don't want to be, and the projected future, where you want to be. It makes you lose the now, which is the only place life ever happens. Tolle is clear. If you find your here and now intolerable, you have only 3 sane options. Remove yourself from the situation, change it, or accept it totally. All else is madness. This is the key. To stop these patterns, you must start monitoring your inner mental emotional state. Notice when you're complaining or resenting or waiting. The very moment you notice it, you are no longer just the pattern. You are the awareness watching the pattern. And in that moment of awareness, you are present. That's how you break the spell. This state of being the watcher is what Tolle calls presence. But what is this state? And how do we access it on purpose, not just by accident? Let's explore that now. This is the heart of the book. What is this state of presence? Tolle is clear. It's not what you think it is. You cannot think about presence, and the mind cannot understand it. Understanding presence is being present. Presence is a state of no mind, a gap in the stream of thought. It's a state of alert, conscious stillness. To give us a taste of this, Tolle offers a simple experiment. Try this. Close your eyes and say to yourself, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. Then, become very alert and wait for the next thought. Be like a cat watching a mouse hole. What happens? You'll find that as long as you are intensely alert, no thought comes. There's just stillness. You are still highly conscious, but there are no thoughts. That is presence. The instant your conscious attention sinks, the mental noise rushes back in. This is the state we need to cultivate. But how do we stay in this state in our busy everyday lives? Tolle says we must be deeply rooted within ourselves. What does that mean? It means to inhabit your body fully. Most of us live entirely in our heads. Being rooted means keeping some of your attention always in the inner energy field of your body. This body awareness acts as an anchor. It keeps you from getting lost in your mind and pulls you into the now. It's only from this state of presence that we can perceive true reality. Tolle points out that the mind cannot recognize nor create beauty. When you look at a flower, your mind just slaps a label on it, flower. But if you look at it in a state of presence without the mental label, you can feel its essence, its sacredness. You are perceiving it through being, not through the mind. This act of watching the mind is more than just a psychological trick. Tolle calls it an event of cosmic significance. When you withdraw consciousness from its identification with your mind, you are strengthening the watcher, which is pure, formless consciousness. You are participating in consciousness itself, awakening from its dream of form. He even equates this state with Christ consciousness. Not Jesus the man, but Christ as your God essence or awakened divinity. It is the timeless I am that exists now beyond your personal history. Presence is simply your own divine essence awakened. So presence is the goal, a state of no mind anchored in the now. And the primary method for achieving this is to become rooted by inhabiting your body. But how exactly do we do that? Let's get practical. If presence is the goal, the inner body is the main portal. For centuries, many spiritual traditions have mistakenly treated the body as an obstacle, or even as sinful. They've tried to deny it, punish it, or escape it. Tolle says this is a profound error. True transformation is not away from the body, but through it. The physical body you can see and touch is just the outer shell. Underneath it lies an invisible inner body, a vibrant, animating energy field. This inner body is your direct link to being, your formless, indestructible essence. Most of the time we can't feel it, because all our attention is trapped in our minds, in compulsive mind stuff. The practice is simple. Inhabit the body. This means to feel the body from within. Right now, as you're listening, can you feel the life in your hands, your arms, your feet, your legs? Can you feel a subtle aliveness pervading your entire body? Don't think about it. Feel it. By directing your attention into the body, you reclaim consciousness from the mind. The inner body becomes your anchor in the now. You can't be in your body and lost in your mind at the same time. The more you do this, the higher your vibrational frequency becomes. This practice has immediate, powerful benefits. Physically, Tolle claims it greatly strengthens the immune system and slows down the aging process. Why? Because you stop accumulating psychological time in your cells, which impairs their ability to renew. Psychologically, it makes you immune to the negative mental emotional force fields of others. Negativity can't survive in the high frequency of your presence. What if you try this and feel agitation or nausea or some other lingering emotion? Tolle says this is a good sign. It's an old trapped emotion blocking your access. The key is forgiveness, which for Tolle simply means to relinquish your grievance and offer no resistance. You give that painful feeling your full, accepting attention. You feel it fully without letting the mind build a story around it. When you do, the emotion transmutes, and you gain access to the deeper, peaceful inner body beneath it. The takeaway is that your body is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally and your most direct portal to enlightenment. By learning to inhabit your inner body, you ground yourself in the now and find the one true path to freedom from the mind. This is the main portal, but Tolle says it's not the only one. The unmanifested, the source of all life, has left other openings for us. Let's find out what they are. The unmanifested is Tolle's word for the formless, timeless source of all life, being itself. He says it's not separate from our world. It actually pervades it, but it's so well disguised that we miss it. The inner body is one portal, but there are several others you can use to access this realm. The main portal, of course, is the now. It's an essential part of all the other portals. When you dissolve psychological time through intense present moment awareness, you feel the unmanifested directly as the radiance and power of your conscious presence. Another portal is surrender. Surrender, which we'll cover in detail later, is the simple act of letting go of mental emotional resistance to what is. Resistance is what strengthens the ego and binds you to the world of form. Surrender softens your form identity, making it transparent so the unmanifested can shine through you. A third portal is silence. The unmanifested is present in our world as silence. Every sound is born out of silence and dies back into it. Tolle suggests you pay more attention to the silence than to the sounds. Listen for the gaps between words in a conversation or the stillness underneath the noise of traffic. You cannot pay attention to silence without simultaneously becoming still within. In that moment, a portal opens. A fourth portal is space, just like silence. Space is the nothing that allows everything to be. Your mind is trained to only see the things in space, the furniture, the walls, the people. But who pays attention to space itself? Tolle says that by becoming aware of the empty space around you, you simultaneously become aware of the space of no mind, of pure consciousness. It's important to note what is not a portal. Love. Tolle says, love isn't a portal. It's what comes through the portal into this world. Love is the feeling realization of oneness that you experience after you have accessed being through one of these gateways. The key here is that the formless source is not a distant, separate God. It's right here, disguised as the present moment, as the silence between sounds, and as the space between objects. By shifting your attention to these things, you can access the realm of deep peace and aliveness at any time. Now, let's see how this state of presence and being completely revolutionizes one of the most painful areas of our lives, our relationships. If you've ever been in a romantic relationship, you've probably experienced the love-hate cycle. One moment you're in love, and the next you're in a vicious argument. Tolle argues that what we call love is rarely true love. It's addictive clinging. He explains that the ego feels incomplete, needy, and full of fear. When a special relationship comes along, the ego latches onto it as its salvation. You use the other person like a drug to cover up your own underlying pain. When the drug is available, you're on a high. But the moment your partner fails to meet your ego's demands, the drug stops working. Your underlying pain, your pain body resurfaces, and you project it onto your partner as blame, anger, and attack. The love instantly turns to hate. An enlightened relationship is only possible when you stop seeking salvation through another person and instead find it within yourself by accessing being. The key is to transform your relationship into a sadhana, or spiritual practice. This means that when the madness, the arguments, the jealousy, the old patterns comes up, be glad. Tolle says this is an opportunity for salvation. It's your unconsciousness being brought to the light. Your practice is to hold the knowing of your inner state. When you feel anger or jealousy, you simply observe it with intense presence without reacting. You hold the space for that emotion. This breaks the cycle. The greatest catalyst for change in a relationship is complete acceptance of your partner exactly as they are, without any need to judge or change them. This is an act of presence that takes you beyond ego. All the mind games and addictive clinging come to an end. Tolle also notes that women are often closer to enlightenment because it's easier for them to feel their inner body. Their primary obstacle, however, is often the collective female pain body, the accumulated pain of millennia of subjugation. But this too can be transmuted into consciousness by catching it with presence, especially during menses, turning that time from one of unconsciousness to one of profound awakening. The takeaway is powerful. Relationships are not here to make you happy or save you. They are here to make you conscious. By accepting this, you can use your relationships, especially the difficult parts, as the fire that burns away your ego and reveals true love, which is the realization of oneness, or being. This leads to a state that is far deeper than what we normally call happiness. Let's find out what that is. We are all chasing happiness, but Tolle points out a critical flaw in this pursuit. Happiness depends on conditions being perceived as positive. Inner peace, on the other hand, does not. Our minds are judgment machines, constantly labeling things good or bad. This good-bad duality is the mind's way of operating. But being is a higher good that exists beyond this duality. When you live in complete acceptance of what is, you're no longer at the mercy of conditions. You find a peace that passeth all understanding. Most of the bad things that happen in our lives are what Tolle calls drama. This is self-created suffering that comes from our ego's resistance to the present moment. We create drama when we feel sorry for ourselves or anxious or when we complain. When you are fully conscious and live in acceptance, drama does not come into your life anymore. You can't even have an argument with a fully conscious person because they offer no resistance for your ego to push against. This doesn't mean bad things won't happen. The world of form is cyclical and impermanent. There will always be cycles of success and failure, growth and dissolution. We're taught to see the up cycle as good and the down cycle as bad. But Tolle says the down cycle is absolutely essential for spiritual realization. Deep failure or loss often forces us to let go of our ego and find the deeper dimension of being. All inner resistance to these natural cycles manifests as negativity. Negativity is totally unnatural. No other life form on the planet knows negativity, no stressed oak trees or depressed dolphins. It's a psychic pollutant created only by the human mind. The ego loves negativity because it unconsciously believes that its resistance will change reality. In truth, negativity only strengthens the ego and blocks positive change. Instead of fighting negativity, Tolle says we should use it. Use it as a signal, like a loud alarm bell, that is reminding you to wake up. Get out of your mind. Be present. The moment you observe the negativity, you are no longer it. You are the presence watching it, and it will dissolve. The key is to stop pursuing conditional happiness and instead cultivate unconditional inner peace. You do this by accepting the isness of all life's cycles, using negativity as a reminder to be present, and finding the joy of being that exists beyond the mind's judgments. This all hinges on one final, all-important concept: surrender. Let's discover what that truly means. The word surrender often has negative connotations. It sounds like giving up, like passive defeat or fatalism. But Tolle redefines it as the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to rather than opposing the flow of life. True surrender is an inner, unconditional acceptance of the present moment, of what is, without any reservations. It's not about accepting your entire life situation, like I'm stuck in this mud forever. It's about accepting the tiny segment called the now. You accept the isness of this very moment, without the mind's labels. You fully acknowledge I'm stuck in the mud right now. This surrender is a purely inner phenomenon. It does not mean you can't take action. In fact, it's what makes your action effective. Once you've accepted the isness of the moment, you are free from resistance. Your action then arises from a place of clarity and peace, not from anger or frustration. This is surrendered action, and it is infinitely more powerful. What if you can't accept the external situation? What if the pain is too great? Tolle offers a second chance at surrender. If you cannot accept what is outside, then accept what is inside. This means, do not resist the pain. Surrender to the grief, the fear, the despair. Feel it fully, without letting your mind create a victim identity around it. Face it, feel it, don't think about it. This is what Tolle calls the way of the cross. It's entering death consciously. When you face and embrace your deepest suffering with your full presence, the pain transmutes into deep peace. The suffering ego dies and you realize your true immortal nature. This is resurrection. This is the power to choose. Tolle argues that as long as you are identified with your mind, you have no choice. You are just a bundle of conditioned patterns. Choice begins the moment you disidentify from the mind, the moment you become present. By surrendering to the now, you access this power. You realize that you do not need pain anymore, and you can choose to create no more suffering for yourself or others. In the end, surrender is the ultimate key. It is the simple, radical act of saying yes to the present moment. This inner acceptance is what dissolves the ego, ends suffering, and reconnects you to the source energy of being, transforming your entire world from the inside out. So what is the ultimate message of the power of now? It's that the life of anxiety, stress, and suffering that most of us experience is not the only option. It's a dysfunction caused by a simple case of mistaken identity. We believe we are the voice in our head, the egoic mind. This false self can only survive by living in the past and future, creating an illusion of psychological time that generates all our negativity. It also creates a pain body from our past wounds that traps us in cycles of suffering. But this entire structure is an illusion. The only way out is through the now. The present moment is the only reality we ever have, and it's the only portal to our true, timeless, and indestructible nature, our being. The path to this freedom is not complicated, but it does require vigilance. It's the practice of watching the thinker without judgment. It's the practice of inhabiting your inner body to anchor yourself in the present. And ultimately, it's the practice of surrender, a radical, inner yes to what is, which dissolves all resistance. This journey takes you beyond the mind's drama of good and bad, beyond the conditional state of happiness, and into the unshakable inner peace of being. Eckhart Tolle's book is a powerful, direct, and practical guide. It doesn't just offer you new information, it offers you a new state of consciousness. The core teaching of this book is that you can choose to end your own suffering, but it all starts with awareness. So here's our question for you. What is the one thing that most often pulls you out of the present moment? Is it worry about work, replaying a conversation, or checking your phone? And have you ever tried watching the thinker? Let us know in the comments below what you discovered. If you found these insights valuable, please give this video a like and subscribe to Read Wiser for more summaries that help you improve yourself through books. Thanks for watching,